AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
You know what this is.
Knicks Rehab.
You see the title there. Gilbert Arenas was right. Knicks trade Divincenzo and Julius Randle for Karl Anthony Towns. All right. Well, this is what he played. This is what he's referring to.
It's hard to rewind players backwards. If I average 20, it is very hard to say, hey, we need you to now average 5 to 10. That is a very hard pill to swallow for any player.
Well, this was a deal that wouldn't happen without Donte Divincenzo. I'm told Minnesota and New York had talked about different iterations of the deal. Knicks initially had not wanted to include Divincenzo, but Minnesota got very interested once it became clear Divincenzo would be available in the deal. I think that's really what got this thing done.
Originally, Ian Begley reported Donte Divincenzo was probably going to be coming off the bench this season. Bridges would likely have taken his spot in the starting lineup. I can say confidently that Divincenzo didn't exactly love the idea of playing fewer minutes, a reduced role this season. He was coming off of a career year and helped the team win a ton of games when it was shorthanded. Now, of course, if you don't know the chicanery, you know what they're going to say. Well, Gilbert ain't wrong. He's implying that Donte Divincenzo was so messed up that he wanted out, basically. He couldn't handle this. And the Knicks said, you know what? You out of here. That's what they're implying. But today, Ian Begley has countered that same report with another one.
Retracting the retraction, huh, Ian? I guess we're not the only ones that do that. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I just had to say that because, you know, we own that. See, right what he's about to say, he didn't own what he said literally 24 to 48 hours prior. 24 to 48 hours before you drop the seed, and now everybody is clamoring, oh, Divincenzo got a little too much dip on his chip. You got us looking at Big Ragu, DD. You got us looking at him funny because that's our guy. That's my guy. That's your guy. We love Don.
Yeah, Gilbert out here had me thinking I was out of my mind. Right. He was over here with his basketball voodoo. 2 days after he makes that video, Donte wants out and he gets traded. He did say that.
Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, my brother, texted me and said, hey, Flake, Gil might have been right. He might have been right.
I also said in the live, allegedly, Donte wanted out, but that's all up to speculation anyway, because we don't know. With Ian Begley, what he reported today with Donte Divincenzo and his situation with the Knicks.
Karl Anthony Towns walked through the front door of the Knicks training facility around 10 a.m. on Monday ahead of media day, but none of the players nor head coach Tom Thibodeau addressed the trade in detail on media day because the trade is not finalized. Now, it's going to happen. It's going to go through at some point, but one of the holdups here is logistics. The Knicks are going to sign and trade some players on the back end of the roster, send those players to Charlotte in order to make the math work on this trade. It will happen. Nothing has fallen through here. It's just a matter of when, and that's part of the holdup. Now, obviously, the Knicks sending out Donte Divincenzo and Julius Randle and a future first-round pick to get Karl Anthony Towns here. And one note on Divincenzo, I saw a couple reports about the Knicks shipping out Divincenzo because, in part, because he was upset about his role potentially coming off the bench here. That's not true. The Knicks, all off season long, checked in with the Timberwolves. They did not want to put Divincenzo in this trade. That's why it didn't happen earlier in the offseason. But ultimately, it became clear that in order to get the deal done, you had to put Divincenzo in there. Minnesota wanted Divincenzo, and that's why he was in there. It was not about, you know, his frustration with any role this year, reduced role. You know, I do know that, you know, he wasn't in love with the idea of playing a reduced role. Look, he was coming off probably the best season of his career, and he was a big part of the Knicks winning 50 games. So I think anybody in his position wouldn't be in love with the idea of playing fewer minutes, maybe taking fewer shots the following season. I think it's just human nature, but that did not factor into the Knicks' decision to move him to Minnesota to acquire Karl Anthony Towns.
That was
you playing. Now I don't like how you playing. Go ahead, Fabian. You was about to say something. I ain't like how you did that.
That was Ian Begley, New York Knicks reporter from SNY everywhere. about Donte Divincenzo. He is reporting that he was uncomfortable. You know, he didn't like going back to the bench, reduced roles. Same thing, exact same sentiments Gilbert had in his video. Nothing that we really refuted. But I don't, to your point, Flea, yo, Ian Begley, come on, dog. What you reported, you had me out here looking crazy with these dumbass glazers. These Gil Glazers. You better apologize. Let me tell y'all something, too. Better apologize to who? For what? What am I apologizing for? Gilbert talks the same way we do. Again, y'all don't have the balls to come out of them comments. Faceless cowards. You come out here, I gotta apologize for what? He ain't my wife. I ain't trying to get no buns from Gil. You trying to give up your buns to him. Y'all trying to have his babies, not me.
Go
fuck about none of that.
Go crazy, baby. Go crazy.
Come in the comments, man. I dare y'all say some stupid shit. We flaming y'all.
Go crazy. Ray going crazy.
That's number one, right? Number two, again, even when I responded to the video with Gilbert, I think you had jumped off. When he said that part, I said, bro, we could never refute your point of view of, imagine you Donte Divincenzo, even Gilbert Arenas, all of y'all dropping 60 on the Lakers. They telling you you're going to the bench. Donte Divincenzo had the Garden going crazy. Not just the Garden going crazy. He hit the game-winning shot in the playoff game at the Garden. The Garden when it's New York. He knows what he feels like walking around here. Then you got to go to the bench? They telling you, now you got to go to the bench. We get what you're saying. We read Pat Riley's, the what is it, the poison of the whatever the hell. When you win a championship, or it's harder to repeat because everybody thinks they're bigger than what they are. We didn't even win a championship, but that's what it feels like in New York. It almost felt like you won. That's all we talking about. So, yeah, we get what you're saying. To be a reduced role in that scenario, we get it. But we also were drinking the Nova Knicks Kool-Aid, and it seems like rightfully so. He ain't want to leave his man. Now, granted, Flea, him and Josh Hart did scrap it out in college. That's not alleged. They talked about it.
No, they spoke about that. We know that.
I don't know who won, but I was even going to go in the direction. I was going to flame Donte Divincenzo today. I was going to say Josh Hart probably whooped your ass.
Don't kill the big ragu. Don't kill the big ragu.
Big rag, no disrespect, big ragu. But Gilbert ain't wrong for telling us how the player feels.
100%.
Can't say we're wrong, bro. The report right there, they were trying to trade Mitchell Robinson the whole summertime. That's why the trade took so long. Flea, your response.
Well, I mean, I look at it like this. Human nature, yeah, it's human nature. But we got to understand levels. Levels, right? Donte Divincenzo, what level are you? Forget the Knicks. Forget that. Why would you think that because of the role that you played last year, which got heightened because of our shortened rotation, right? There's reasons why we were in the position we were in, right? We may have not found out that Josh Hart is a Dennis Rodman offensive rebounding type play. We might have not found that out. We might have not found out that Donte Divincenzo can be a starting level guard in the NBA. Because that's what I think. I think he's a fringe starter, right? If you need somebody to start multiple games, if you need somebody to start the tail end of your season, he can do that. If he's my starting two guard, how good am I? I don't know. I don't know if I'm a playoff team. I don't know if I'm a playing team. I'm just saying. So he played out of his mind last season. So for me, I just thought from his vantage point, it's a little disingenuous to think that all the pieces that are coming back that you knew, forget Mikal Bridges. Let's say that for a second. Forget Mikal Bridges. Let's say that trade didn't even happen. You mean to tell me that you feel like you would still have the same role with Julius coming back, with OG being fully healthy and ready to go in that rotation? Your role wouldn't be the same. It just wouldn't. Everybody's role is changing except Jalen Brunson's, right? Everybody's role is changing except Jalen Brunson's.
And OG.
And OG's.
And Mitchell Robinson.
Okay.
When you make it out of them damn Instagram page, he keeps trolling us talking about I bought a house in New York City. I ain't going. This is mine. Mitch.
God bless you. And if we decide to say that we are going to go get Trey Murphy and we want you to go, you will be gone.
We'll get to that later because Trey Murphy, that's a tough conversation.
You will be gone if they decide to do that.
That's a hell of a replacement.
Right. I know you saw that. You was like, oh my God.
You know, what I do, went straight to the Trey Murphy highlight reel. You crazy? I don't want to diminish what Gil is saying.
By no means.
By no means, because that's what we don't get out when we get caught up. People don't realize police jumping out of work. You see the tie on, bro. We go jump in the morning. We editing stuff all day long. People are working all day long. So we got a minute or hour and a half to get some shit out. We got 5 topics, 3 topics. Sometimes we veer off, whatever it is. And truth be told, all we did was kind of cut off Gilbert Arenas when he was talking about Woj. And he said what we said after the fact, but I didn't see it till afterwards. After our video, I'm like, oh shit, he said what we said. Woj can play. Woj doesn't need that to learn basketball to play that position. So that's what we were saying. And again, you know, I just thought, why is he kicking Woj's back in like that? His immediate reaction was, he don't know nothing about basketball. And his response to his reaction to the Donte Divincenzo Knicks situation is, damn, if I'm Divincenzo, I ain't feeling this. I ain't going back to the bench. I was on Golden State, got off the bench, went crazy with my buckwheat do. I went bananas. He did have his 27, you know, versus John Stockton the second year. Yeah, you did all that. So we respect that. But Gil, can't front, bro. It's different. I ain't trying to disrespect you, respectfully. But it seems like on championship teams, mother lovers got to sacrifice.
So hold on. He would absolutely know about getting hurt, being the guy, 3 straight years, one of the best players in the world. No question about it. For 3 years in a row, Gil was at the top of his game.
I'm vaping on camera, Flea. Fuck it.
Gets hurt, then comes back and has to assume somewhat of a reduced role. And I'm talking about when he went to Orlando, right? Not so much in Washington. When he comes back, they still know he's the guy. But in Orlando, he wasn't the guy. He understands what that is. He understands from a player perspective. But from a championship level perspective, I think it's fair to say Gil has never been in that position to ever speak from that perspective on a team good enough to win a championship.
And just what he said.
Back in college, in Arizona, let me not lie, because I had to think about it. In Arizona, they were in the national championship game against Duke. So, excuse me. But
like the Orlando thing, he was injured, so there was no way to really get back. I'm pretty sure you know better than me. I mean, I'm dealing with my stuff, and I do physical labor, so I can only imagine y'all playing ball. It's different. You have to perform. So imagine you being hurt like that, and I can't challenge that number 2 like the way I want to. Even if you could, you know, you're telling yourself, damn, I'm not me. I know how that. We all know how that feels.
John Wall was a rookie when he came back. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's John Wall's rookie year, and all John is doing is ascending. All John is doing is being as fast as you once were, Gil. I'm lying. John was 10 times faster than you. 94 feet with the basketball. 94 feet with the basketball. John might be one of the fastest players in NBA history ever.
He was deceptively fast, because he never looked that fast to me. But the way you guys talk about him, like his spin move and everything, he always seemed. Maybe I'm crazy. I wasn't a big John Wall guy.
I know you wasn't. John was my favorite point guard in the league at one point.
Everybody that played ball, they say that. Yo,
like favorite, like in terms of just aesthetics,
they love John Wall.
Watching him play, like
y'all
I'm
love
not
him.
saying he was the best, but I'm saying like fan wise, just watching him play. Oh, I used to love John.
He comes out of Kentucky. Wizards draft him.
Number 1 pick as a guard.
Number 1 pick. Writings on the wall. Come on, Bridges is replacing Donte Divincenzo. You see what's going on. So he has been in that spot, but I still don't think he's Gilbert Arenas. Right. Like, you tell me from that, like, something's preventing me from getting to this level that I'm not at. That must be even more frustrating than that. So it's not quite Divincenzo, but it's still, you have to be forced to a reduced role. Sacrificing. All you ever talk about, that's why we say we love McCants, because he's challenging you.
Yeah.
All McCann's talking about, bro, you want to be a legend, a winner, or you don't. You take the money, all right, then. So you take what comes with that. As fans, the media, it sounds like a different point of view outside looking in, but it's, bro, everybody, Tim Duncan, all these guys have to take less money. That's all we ever hear about. Brunson just took less money. So that's what we're celebrating. It's the fact that we believe these guys want to sacrifice. And it seemed to be true. Donte was struggling with the same exact thing Gilbert said, but they traded him. He didn't want to leave. And I love this point. Shout out to all the members and all that King speech. Was that you? He said he signed not a mid, what's an MLE?
Mid-level exception.
He signed a mid-level exception. He was just been a six-man his whole career, and he signed a six-man mid-level exemption. We'll get to that in a second because we got to break down the Julius Randle, DiVincenzo going to the Timberwolves thing. Now we got a couple of days to absorb it.
He's not a starter over there, Fabian.
You're not being paid starter. That's number one, and you're not being paid to be a starter. So you Gil Guzzlers ain't show up enough over here, baby. We over here going crazy.
In what position is he ever going to be a starter for the Minnesota Timberwolves going forward?
I can see it. I can see it happening.
Tell me where. How do you configure a lineup to where he's in your starting lineup when the ball is tipped off, he's starting? How do you configure a lineup?
Aside from injury,
Ant-Man got to get hurt.
No, I disagree.
Conley gets hurt.
Or he looks a little older.
So what are you gonna do? Put the ball in Big Rat Goose hands?
Nah, by committee. Remember, they're missing who in their start lineup can shoot right now.
Fabian Finch is gonna get a ball to his rookie Rob Dillingham before he puts Donte DiVincenzo out there and Anthony Edwards to take point guard duties.
I'm not saying point guard duties, but we really didn't have. You saw what Indiana and Philly was doing against us. They were playing 94 feet.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a real pure. Brunson's the only one really, and so once they blocked him off, it was Ragoul, sometimes Josh Hart, and it was clunky. So I understand to your point. I understand what you're saying, but it was still DiVincenzo bringing the ball up a lot. He ain't got to do it all the time, and in this era, there is no true point guard like that. Rarely. So I can see him starting. Is what I'm saying.
But with the success that they just came off of, conference finals, losing your second best player now in Karl Anthony Towns, gaining back Julius Randle, what I'm saying is I don't think DiVincenzo would ever be in the position to be relied on the way he was as a Knick. Not in Minnesota.
But it's less of a fight for minutes. That's
the first guy coming off the bench is Naz Reid. Still,
yes,
that's the first guy coming off the pine.
Keep going.
Then Nickeil Alexander-Walker is probably going to come off next.
Nah, I don't know about that.
What?
Alexander, super defender. Nobody talks about him.
One of the best on-ball defenders in the league. You tell it, and he's become a way better shooter. You telling me he's going to continue to start, and his size, okay? Let's remember that. His size,
lanky,
being able to
tall,
guard multiple positions.
Okay, now that's two guys off the bench. One is a defender, one is a shooter. It makes a lot of sense. But in the starting lineup currently right now, you have 0 sharpshooters. 0 shooting in terms of Ant-Man's the closest.
I agree.
Right? Conley, a little bit he's streaky, right? Okay.
Jaden McDaniels, not
Can't
really a
shoot.
shooter.
Oh, no, from the corner, he's all right. Jaden McDaniels from the corner, corner threes are all right.
He's gonna have to hit more shots than corner threes though now, right? Because now the floor is gonna start to shrink a little bit, bro. Because adding Julius Randle, now you don't have Karl Anthony Towns, who is hunting jump shots and 3-point shots and keeping that lane clear. It's a little like that. I love that word you use. It's a little clunky down there now in terms of how they're going to get. So okay.
So how?
Okay, they're gonna need him to hit shots.
Because now you got 2 guys, right? Now remember, Alexander. There's gonna be games where you could just put Naz Reid, Alexander, and DiVincenzo immediately onto the floor. Just swap out 3 guys. All right, boom, go in there and do your thing, guys. With the Knicks, remember, you find the minutes. It's not just Josh Hart potentially off the bench. You gotta have to find minutes for Deuce And we got the kid. It seems like they believe in this rookie kid, Kolick, bro.
Yeah.
That's 3. That's on the perimeter. We don't have Achua's gonna go fill the front court up. Donte could sometimes play the 3, but I think it's harder for him to get minutes here anyway. He's a little more satisfied with his minutes in Minnesota. I gotta believe that. Especially being alongside Ant-Man. I gotta say this right now. The one thing that pisses me off right now about this trade is that I went from feeling like Supernova to Soldier Boy. The Timberwolves stole my fucking flow. They stole our fucking flow, bro. AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.